Hi everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. If you love cinnamon rolls, you are going to love today's cake recipe. I'm going to be making the ultimate cinnamon roll cake. This cake is bursting with so much incredible cinnamon flavor. We're going to start with cinnamon vanilla cake layers and then fill those cake layers with a cinnamon dulce de leche, which imitates that incredible caramelized cinnamon sugar that's on the inside of cinnamon rolls. And we're gonna frost the cake with a cinnamon cream cheese frosting. It is just absolutely amazing. Now I have a separate video recipe for the cream cheese frosting. I'm going to link that down in the video description box below, along with the recipe for this cake. Let's get started. I'm gonna show you how to make this incredible dessert. I have my oven preheating to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to get things started with the cinnamon vanilla cake layer. So into a large mixing bowl, I'm going to pour in 1 cup of buttermilk. And the buttermilk just makes the cake layer so nice and fluffy. You guys are gonna love it. And I'm going to add in 3/4 cups of cooking oil, 4 large eggs, 1/2 cup of white granulated sugar, and 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I'm going to mix this all together for a few minutes until the eggs are well beaten. And for my dry ingredients, I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm going to add in 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. I'm also going to add in a little bit of freshly ground nutmeg. It's going to add so much great flavor. And then just toss this all together. And I'm going to sift the dry ingredients into my cake batter. And then mix in the dry ingredients for about a minute, just until the flour is incorporated. And I've lined 3 8-inch cake pans with parchment paper, and I'm going to divide this cake batter evenly between the 3 pans. You could also use a kitchen scale for this step to make sure that each pan has the same exact amount of batter. And make sure to level out the cake batter so you have nice and even cake layers. I like to just make sure to spread it evenly to the edges. And my cake layers are ready to go into my preheated oven. They're going to bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 25 to 27 minutes until they're golden brown on top. And you could always check for the doneness by inserting a toothpick into the center. And when it comes out clean, the cake layers are done and ready to come out of the oven. I'm going to let them cool completely at room temperature. Then we'll come back to assemble the cake. While my cake layers are cooling, I'm going to prepare the dulce de leche filling I'm going to be using on the inside. So I've placed a 13-ounce can of dulce de leche into my mixing bowl. Going to add in 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. I'm also going to grate in a touch of nutmeg. And then just grab the spatula and mix it in really well. You don't want any bits of dry cinnamon. This is going to be the perfect filling for a cinnamon roll cake. And now it's time to assemble the cake. It's my favorite part. I absolutely love putting the cake together. My cake layers have cooled completely. I have my dulce de leche filling all good to go, and I have a batch of my cream cheese frosting. I have a separate video recipe for that. I'll include it down in the video description box below. This frosting is so great. What I did was I added just 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon to my original recipe, and it's just so light and fluffy. It's going to be perfect for this cake. I actually made this frosting the night before, and I just let it set in the refrigerator, and then I let it come up to room temperature for a couple hours, and this way the frosting is really thick. So if you ever have a problem with your cream cheese frosting being too runny, just pop it into the refrigerator for a couple hours and it'll thicken up. It's going to be so beautiful. Let's put this cake together. The first thing I'm going to do is grab a long serrated knife and level off the tops of these cakes. There's not much to level, but I want to have a flat, even surface to spread that dulce de leche filling onto. And I'm going to add 1/2 of my dulce de leche to that first cake layer. Grab an offset spatula and spread it evenly to the edges. And by trimming off the top, we're exposing all those little air pockets, and that dulce de leche is just gonna sink right into the little pockets. It's gonna be so good. Follow it up with a little bit of that cream cheese frosting. And I'm spreading this cream cheese frosting really gently over the top of that caramel. Otherwise, it can like kind of slip and move out of place. Add the final layer on top. And now I'm ready to apply my crumb coat. So the crumb coat is a really thin layer of the frosting that kind of seals all the crumbs and all the little gaps in. And then once I have the crumb coat complete, I'm going to place the cake into the refrigerator, and you could just let it chill in there anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes until that frosting is nicely set. And then we'll come back to add our final thicker layer of frosting. I've transferred my remaining frosting into a pastry bag, and today I'm using a French star tip number 4. I'm going to go around the cake and add dollops of cream on top. And I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon over the top to garnish the cake. And add a little bit of caramel drizzle. How good does this look? And now time to cut into this cake to see what it looks like on the inside. I'm gonna grab a nice sharp knife. I'm really excited to see all those layers of the dulce de leche inside. Let's check this out. Just wow, I absolutely love what it looks like on the inside. You have those gorgeous thick layers of the caramel and then the cream cheese frosting. This cake is going to be so, so delicious. And that is it, guys, for my cinnamon roll cake. I love how it turned out with all the garnishes on the top, and those layers look so delicious on the inside. For the full recipe, head on down in the video description box. I'll have a link there for the cream cheese frosting that I used and a link for this full recipe up on my website. Time to dig in and enjoy. This looks so, so phenomenal. I just love that caramel on the inside. It's gonna taste so good with the cream cheese frosting. Oh yeah, amazing. This cinnamon cake is just wow. I'm telling you guys, one of the best cakes I've ever had. Definitely makes my top 10 list. This cake is dangerous because you might end up eating not one but 2 slices. It's just the combination of all the flavors and textures that makes it so phenomenal. Let's start with these cake layers. They are just so delicate and moist, and I like just a light hint of cinnamon in the cake layers, and then you get the creamy dulce de leche in the middle combined with that cream cheese frosting. The flavors are just out of this world. So phenomenal, so delicious. You guys, this is the perfect cake for fall or Thanksgiving. Any kind of special event you have coming up, make this cake and I guarantee you everybody is going to love it and be asking for seconds. Now I make a lot of cakes, but this cake is definitely up there. That cream cheese frosting is so creamy, so delicious. I love that little hint of cinnamon in there. It just really, just brings it all together. You guys are gonna love this cake. For the full recipe, head on down the video description box. I left a link there for the website. I hope you guys enjoy this cake at home as much as I do, and I'll see you next time with a new recipe.